health is wealth, isn't it? And not only is health wealth, sometimes we also need to have a healthy mindset. As a matter of fact, I might put to you that we must always have a healthy mindset. So join us with Lisa Piranzo as she shares not only some tips and advice around health, but how she was able to still build and grow her health and fitness business during some crazy times. If you're ready to take your life to the next level, cue the intro. Welcome to The Real Deal, where we get real about what it takes to succeed. Whether it's wealth, health, relationships, or finding your purpose, we talk to the masters to uncover the secrets to defying the odds and creating your own rock star legacy. I'm Doug, and after working on multiple Grammy-winning records as an author, transformational speaker, and your personal translightenment coach, I'm committed to your growth and success. And now, here's the real deal. Welcome to The Real Deal On. Having some fun here. We're welcoming Lisa Piranzo. Oh, that's right. Lisa has worked over 10 years, or has over 10 years experience in the fitness industry. She has worked with a diverse population, including first responders, athletes, and adolescents. All right. And her experience in the fitness industry has also included working with clients to rehab from a variety of injuries, from spinal cord injuries to brain injuries, recovery from childbirth to sports-related industries, as well as joint replacements. Her focus is always to help her clients find their own strength and power from their fitness routine. She is a PMA-accredited Pilates Instructor, Senior Trainer, Certified CrossFit Instructor, Certified Kettlebell Instructor, and Certified Barre Above Instructor. Lisa also has a certification in Paleo Nutrition, a Bachelor's Degree in Psychology, and a Master's Degree in Human Behavior. She is a contributing writer for HealthWeb Magazine as well as Smartrepreneur Magazine. In addition to being the founder and CEO of A Healthful Life, Lisa has been featured in various magazines and on podcasts, including San Diego Voyager Magazine, Combat Divas, The Poorly Written Podcast, and Radical Resilience. So welcome, Lisa!
Okay, so I just went to the Hella Mega Tour on Sunday night, and I think I just got my hearing back, and your intro just reminded me of that. So
all right, welcome back. Awesome. So welcome, Lisa, and so great to meet you. And first of all, I just want to acknowledge your persistence and flexibility in getting here. That is the testament of your professionalism and desire to help people and make a difference. So very nice. So
same for you too. Thanks for not ghosting me and for getting back to me and for being flexible on the schedule as well, so we can make this work.
Absolutely. So share, who is Lisa? You obviously have a passion for fitness, and out of curiosity, was that always? Were you always into fitness? Were you one of the gymnast, cheerleader kids, or was it okay?
Definitely not. I think I'm the least competitive person you'll ever meet in your whole life. Competitive, I like to watch competitive sports. I do not like to participate in competitive sports.
Fair enough.
Never have. Fitness for me came about as a necessity. After September 11th, I enlisted in the military.
Oh, thank you for your service.
Well, thank you. I went into ROTC and got hurt, significantly hurt when I was in ROTC, and I didn't walk for about a year.
Wow.
And that is really like the catalyst for what propelled this whole journey into fitness and health and, empowering people and all of these things was that.
How long were you in training or in ROTC where something happened? Would you break your back or something?
I shattered, fractured, and dislocated my right foot while I was fast roping. When I didn't fall or anything like that, but when I hit the ground, the thought is that I landed on a rock, and it was just like pure perfect physics. Just, yeah. I had been in ROTC for between a year and a half and 2 years at that point.
Okay.
And I will say that it was a very new situation for my command at the time to run into. They hadn't ran into anything like that. Someone getting that significantly hurt to the point of needing like surgical repairs and bed rests and all these things. And they were amazing. I give the Army a lot of credit. They took care of me. They helped me finish my degree, so I actually ended up graduating with my bachelor's early, and a lot of that was their help. They continued to pay me. Like, they really did take care of me.
Right.
They would come and visit me and like all that kind of stuff. So kudos to them for showing up when a lot of people could have just bounced.
Yeah. Wow. God bless them.
Yeah.
So prior to that, you were, I wouldn't, not to say unhealthy, it wasn't a priority.
Right.
So then you end up getting hurt, and then by proxy, you just started to having to do some form of rehab, and that's where you started to uncover a passion for the process?
Yeah, it wasn't even a passion at first, like in complete transparency. I think I'm like a lot of the, I don't want to say like quote unquote normal person, but normal person that I didn't like it. I still like working out, it's not always vibing with me, just complete transparency. Mm-hmm. It was a process for me to figure out what was going to work the best for me, that honor and respected my body and its capabilities without being concerned about what the person next to me was doing. Like, it was that I need to let my ego go to do what's going to help me the most, not what I think should help me the most.
So you were listening to coaches and mentors, I presume?
Yeah, for a long time. I remember when I first got hurt, I went through like all the bed rest. I did a lot of physical therapy. I got through all of that, and I started walking again without assistance, which was a process in and of itself. And what I really wanted to be able to do again was run. Because when you're in the military, you run. That is like a modality of fitness that will never, ever go away. And that was what I was used to. So that was what I wanted to do, which is completely contraindicated when the majority of your foot is fake. Wow.
So do you still run now? Or are you
No,
okay.
I cannot. That was the biggest test of me letting my ego go with it.
Okay. So you had to find alternative strategies.
I had to find alternative strategies. And as I was going through finding these alternative strategies and then getting yelled at by my doctor, because what I would do is I would go and get cortisone shots. Don't do this. Friends listening to this podcast, this is a disclaimer. Please, God, don't do this. This is not a good idea. I would go and get cortisone shots. I would be pain-free, and then I would go and run. And the cortisone shot that's supposed to last, however long, I'm not sure, would end up lasting like an hour and then would completely wear off. And it got to the point where my doctor was like, "You are not coming in here for any more cortisone shots. If you come in here again, it's because you're allowing me to cut you open." She's an orthopedic surgeon.
Right.
She said, "You need to figure out something else." And I was like, I don't know what else to do. So I found CrossFit community and things kind of propelled from there. But what it was me having this awareness of like, okay, I can't do that. I need to find something else. And then as things kind of grew and expanded, going, I'm not the only one like this. I might be the only one who's overcome this injury in my like immediate circle, right? But everybody has kind of their thing, whether it's they're coming back from an injury and a doctor has said, you can't do high impact exercises, or you need to be comfortable kneeling, or, whatever it is. Or it just is like, that does not appeal to me. Like, I'd rather be doing my taxes than doing that form of fitness. And it was me starting to really think about, how can people be well? How can people enjoy the process of working out and have it appeal to them without hurting them? Like, let's start there and let's grow and expand all of that. So it's been years, but
Well, and to bring out a point, it's very instructive what you just shared. Is the secret to success is finding ways to enjoy the things that perhaps aren't your most favorite. So you found some ways to enjoy the process, and my hallucination is that's part of what you do as a personal trainer. I guess walk me through that. Do you sit with someone and find out what they like, what they don't like, and design a program around that, or are you like boot camp? Like, no, you got to get that tire and lift it. Like, is that...
For some people, really like that boot camp style.
Yeah.
Some people, and I mean, I can be that all day long too, but it's more of what you initially said is sitting down with someone and going, okay, what appeals to you? Like if I say, let's go for a hike, are you excited or do you feel like you get hives from that idea? And then let's go from there, because every single person, every single body is different. But if the purpose of working out is to contribute to a healthy lifestyle as a whole, then it needs to be healthy habits that you're putting in place, not like I'm going to go and do this 30-day program and then on day one, again, I'm just going to stop.
Indeed. And I'm sure you get this as well. It's not just the exercise, it's the diet, which is why I presume part of your pedigree is also Paleo Nutrition, that you don't just go to the gym. And this is a true story. I once saw someone, I was in Chicago, I was on the road with Tony Robbins as a national trainer with him, and I was at LA Fitness. And in Chicago, true story, there was a dude drinking Coke and eating potato chips on the treadmill. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just common sense thinker, just keep it simple, stupid. Is that recommended?
I mean, no. That being said, though, again, like my overall goal is to help people have the harder solution, which is the healthy lifestyle, right? This isn't the thing that's going to happen in 30 seconds or less. And some of that is allowing yourself indulgences, but learning how to have those indulgences in moderation. And
so, in fairness, that may have been the once a month he does that. We don't know.
Right. I mean, would I do it on a treadmill in an LA Fitness? For me personally, no. But I'm also not going to necessarily be in an LA Fitness. So there's that.
There's that too, of course.
There's that, right? But I don't want people to feel like they have to deprive themselves of the things that they love. I just don't want them to have the whole package of cookies, as it were.
Right. Slim Fast goes great with nachos. Like it's all about the balance.
Do they still make Slim Fast? I don't even know.
Oh, I don't know. That was actually an homage to this comedian. He was a big guy, Louis.
Oh.
Anderson.
Yes. It was the light-haired comedian.
Yeah, and I think that was that. Now don't quote me. That may not have been his, but it was around that time when Louis was big in popularity. I guess he's always been relatively big in stature. So you started getting into obviously this whole thing. What was the sort of process as you started out just kind of dealing with the recovery, and at what point did you go, you know what, I'm actually going to make this a thing rather than just a thing for yourself, to turn it into a career?
So I graduated from college and I went into corporate America. I went that very traditional 9 to 5, 8 to 5, whatever it is route. And I ended up working with victims of violence for a number of years as a second responder. So I was an advocate for victims of violence. And I think that that's where that empowerment piece really started becoming strong for me. And while I was doing that, I was doing fitness on the side. And I remember my husband, who's active duty military, was on deployment, and corporate America was becoming, I was disillusioned with it, basically, to not go into great detail. And he called me and he said, every time I talk to you, when you talk about work, you're miserable. Like he was like, I know that you love what you do and the people that you work with, but when you speak about it in general terms, he's like, you're really unhappy. And life is too short to be that unhappy. And you, of all people, know how short life can be because of my injury. And he said, but when I talk to you about the fitness side of things, you are like so excited and you're so passionate and you're so into it. And God bless that man. He literally was like, quit your job, leave corporate America, take the rest of the time while I'm on deployment to figure out the fitness thing and where you're going to work. And that was what I did.
So at that point, how much had you already studied or been certified in, or?
I had been certified in CrossFit and Paleo Nutrition for a few years at that point, and it was a side hustle. Okay. And I was in the process of getting my Pilates certification when he and I had that conversation. And he said, sit down, do the math, and figure out how long it's going to take for you teaching to make up, the loss of income from paying for the certification and for you to start pulling a profit. And by the time he got home from that deployment, I had paid off the certification. I was already pulling a profit, and I was working half as much as, or even a third, really, as now that I think about it, as much as I was in corporate America.
Love it. So This is going back how many years at this point?
2012 was when I left corporate America.
So 2012, and you shared you're on the West Coast. Is that where you were back then as well?
Yeah.
So how are you marketing yourself in 2012 versus how we can market today? Because that has changed over the years as well.
I worked at a brick and mortar, and they took care of marketing for me. And I had this perspective of every time I go to teach, I was teaching group classes. Every time I go to teach a class, I am auditioning for my job. Mm-hmm. I told you before we started recording, I have a background in music. Mm-hmm. And I started playing classical music when I was 9. So I'm very used to like the auditioning process when it comes to music, as I'm sure you are as well. And so being in front of a crowd and public speaking, doing these things and kind of putting myself out there was not intimidating for me. So I thought, every time I teach a class, I am auditioning for my job, be it the programming, like the actual physical exercises I'm going to put them through, but also the words coming out of my mouth, how I'm treating people, the way I'm showing up will impact that. And it literally, it was like guerrilla marketing at its finest. Because I didn't do anything online at all. I didn't even really start showing up online in a business side of things until I launched a Healthful Life, which was only a couple of years ago. Like the online space is very new to me still.
Right. Okay.
Right. So now it's like the still showing up in person part, and then also showing up on social media and all that, and figuring out that whole bear that is like Instagram and now TikTok. Like, get out.
Right. Yeah. So, it never ends. So are you still at the brick and mortar at that same place? Oh, that's great. Okay, so you've got a steady flow of your regulars, which then allows you to use them as more, sort of testimonials and so forth, and that's brilliant. So now here's a thing. So here you are. Sounds like you got things humming on, all the cylinders. You're rocking and rolling. You've got people coming in, people to serve. You're going in there, and then COVID hits, and all of a sudden, and I know I'm not even sure if you guys are even open yet, but
we are. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. So, like, how did you what was that like for you, knowing that the gig is going there in person, so you that stops, but more importantly, from my perspective and most people, is like, the worst thing you could do during any sort of health crisis is inhibit your ability to be healthy. I mean,
I love you right now.
Yeah, not to go down like some sort of conspiracy theory or anything, but brilliance if you want people to get sick and not get through this. So, how did you navigate that? What was that like for you?
So I would say that even started with the launch of a Healthful Life, which came from me becoming a mom. And me becoming a mom made me, again, reassess my whole fitness from the standpoint of like having the emergency C-section and all the complications and all the things, and how can I get healthy again? But how can I get healthy now that I have a newborn and I'm at home? How can I structure that? And then me thinking, I can't be the only new mom who's experiencing this. I know what to do because I have this whole background and all this knowledge and all this education for how to train at home. And I did that, and I lost 40 pounds on my own at home, and I did not work out 2 hours a day because I had a newborn.
Right.
How can I teach other people to do that? And I started a Healthful Life from that thought. And it was plugging along, and things were great. And then the pandemic hit. And it literally was like, well, now we're all at home, especially in California, because I'm in the San Diego area, and I think my brick and mortar was open and shut down at least 3 times last year, if not 4. I have blocked it from my memory because we open now. And it was like, how can I help my tribe, my people, my community be healthy during this time? Because you have 2 options, right? I can either get COVID cut, or I can put on the COVID-19 in the, not literal, I'm getting the virus sense.
Well, it's the COVID-20.
It's a COVID-20. Is that a variant? Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway.
It's the variant of someone's belt size.
Yeah. So I remember, it was like the first couple of weeks that California had completely locked down, and I was getting text messages from people like, I miss working out with you. They missed the routine of it, the accountability piece of it. I need to be here at this time, and I'm going to do these things, and it's going to suck for an hour, and then I'm going to be done. And I gave it like 2 weeks. And I was like, look, I texted them all, and I was like, never thought I would be doing this in my life, and also this could be a cluster, but what do you guys think about doing Zoom workouts? Like, I have all this stuff where I'll have to be at home. We all have the time. What would you guys think about doing that? And I started that in April of 2020. We are still doing it. I actually have a workout plan for later today. It's donation based because I didn't want people to feel like there was a monetary expectation when, people had lost their jobs and it was all these things going on. And we expanded internationally.
Brilliant.
So
and still donation based.
Still donation based, and I don't have any intention of changing that. I want people to be healthy. And the bigger piece of that too was not just physically healthy, mentally and emotionally and spiritually healthy as well, which meant having a safe space to leave your stress and your anxiety and the fear and the overwhelm and all of the things that we all went through to one degree or another last year. I wanted them to have a place to let it go. I wanted them to have a place, even if it's on a screen, to see their friends, to be able to connect with one another, to be able to know that they could show up to this spot together with each other, and they've just kept it going. I am beyond proud of this group of individuals and awe-inspired from them, because they took a very chaotic situation and found like peace and drive with it. They found their health with it. A lot of them have dropped a lot of weight during it, which is amazing. They've learned how to do things from like an Olympic lifting standpoint, CrossFit, all this stuff that I don't think they ever thought possible for themselves.
And were you using stuff like, here's things you could work out with at home, like, like a gallon water bottles and, I don't know what your tricks are. But yeah.
Pandemic, I know you went and bought vodka.
Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah, it was everything. And then they started buying weights and mats, and a lot of them have garage gyms now where they do all that stuff. And it is, when I say awe-inspiring, it truly is. I'm beyond impressed. And what it shows me on a bigger level is that this is accessible for everybody. It's just a matter of how much you want it.
Right on. And how long are your classes usually?
They are an hour long, 3 days a week right now.
Lovely.
We started with 1 day a week, and we've just kept adding on. And now there's a book club.
Love it.
It's great.
How cool. Yeah. And the people from the gym, now that you're back, do you have any that are doing both?
Mm-hmm. I have people that are doing both. It's been a great thing because it's shown them that regardless of what life throws your way, you can keep going. And I think people need to see that, like their own personal resilience. I know that about myself. I know how resilient of a human I am. I did that. If I can guide people through that process so that they have all those tools, even after they're done working with me, that they can continue to stay healthy, I feel like I've won.
Love it. So where do you see this all going? What's your, like, do you have a vision for this, or?
No, I really don't. I wish I did. I should probably think about that. I really don't. I've told them all, as long as they feel like it is serving them, I will continue to do it. Right. I mean, I love it. And I would be working out regardless. So it's like no skin off my nose. The cool part of it now is in the brick and mortar, I don't exercise with them. It's all like a verbal cueing and I'm standing, whatever. This is cool for me because I work out with them. And I love that.
How cool. Now, do you break things up? Like, is it a theme for the day? Because you've got obviously a pretty wide breadth of styles, as it were. Do you have like, okay, today's Pilates day. Today is, core. Today, like, do you break it up into a bunch of different things?
I do, but it's all within that hour. So we do everything within the hour. And then I went and got Kettlebell certified. So we're throwing that stuff in there too. I mean, I guess I was bored last year. I was like, let's go get another certification.
Yeah, I saw someone doing it this morning at the gym, and I didn't realize there was a certification for it. Like, is there a whole, like, I guess obviously you could hurt yourself beyond just hitting your shins or something.
Oh, that wouldn't be cute. How would you? Yeah, you could totally hit your shins. Yeah, there's you can go all the way up through like master level certifications on kettlebell.
Interesting. See?
Very cool.
Well, I'm sure maybe there's some people who don't know the benefits of kettlebell. Like, why do that, and why is there, what does that do different than, say, Pilates? Why would you do all of these different modalities?
Pilates I love because it focuses on bringing balance to the body by finding like length and tone within the body. Mm-hmm. I like Pilates because every sort of workout focuses on how to build your proprioception, so the awareness of how your body is moving in space. That is at the forefront of Pilates. And Pilates is focusing on bringing balance to the body by strengthening your core and by helping your spine so you can stand up straight and tall and all that kind of stuff. Pilates was actually one of the main ways that I rehabbed from my foot, as well as from when I had my daughter. Kettlebell I like because it's slightly more aggressive. There's more ballistic movements in there. I like that it is, from a practicality standpoint, it's easier for some people to do kettlebell work because the equipment is not as big as like a barbell and that kind of thing. And they can still do a lot of the exercises that you could do like with barbell in terms of some traditional lifting stuff. I mean, they both focus on the core, which is amazing to me. All exercise really does, though, to one degree or another. But the ballistic aspect of kettlebell is what makes it super different from Pilates, for me at least. Right
on. Now, when you started talking about core and stuff, are you chiropractic pro or con? Is that a thing that you encourage, you experience yourself, or is it, if you do the work on your muscles, you don't need that, it'll keep your back straight?
I'm indifferent towards it. If people do it, then fantastic. I know, for instance, I train a lot of people who have scoliosis, which is a curvature of the spine. A lot of the times when that curvature gets really severe, it can end in a very extreme surgical repair. My clients who have scoliosis find a lot of benefit from chiropractic work. For me personally, the bone cracking part of it, I know like they're trained and it's safe and whatever. It freaks me out. I get too much in my head and then I just can't do it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So it's not a form of my own recovery, but if people do it and they like it, I'm all for it. What I would encourage somebody to do if they are getting chiropractic work, because what that's doing is drawing that skeletal system back into proper alignment, but your muscles need to hold the proper alignment, is to find that training aspect that will keep those muscles in proper alignment so your skeletal system can stay in alignment as well.
Right on. Now, with your training, obviously doing the exercises is obviously one part of it, but now the nutrition aspect of it, do you include that in your online stuff, or is that a separate thing that you were doing at the brick and mortar and for your own coaching?
I think in terms of the brick and mortar, like I'm a walking billboard for what I do. So people always ask me what my nutritional breakdown looks like. And I always tell them I will never adhere to any diet that makes me not drink wine or eat chocolate or drink coffee. Like that's out for me. In terms of someone's individual nutritional, that's private coaching.
Okay.
Because everybody has like their thing and like foods that they like and foods that they don't like. Like that's where that individual tailoring really comes into play.
Right. And how granular do you get as far as stuff like that? Do you have people get like live blood tests to find out what allergies they may or may not have to foods that may cause like some inflammation? And
I have gone that deep if people have needed it. And they've been willing to do it, to pay for like one of those companies that you like prick your finger and then it tests the blood for the allergies. People have done that. We've gone as deep as like planning out meals for people, food journaling. Again, it's what's appropriate for that individual person, not for everyone. That doesn't always work.
Right, of course.
Right? Some people need that though.
So have you, now that you're seeing all these challenges with COVID, with place, and you're helping people online, what advice would you have for people who are still trying to figure out, what they should do, that maybe they're still in a place where gyms are having challenges, or they're just afraid? I mean, unfortunately, there's still some people who are like, I don't even want to go into a gym for fear of some sort of, undesired outcome.
And, I can appreciate that. We've California and our mask mandates and all the things that we've been through, and my clients know that my goal for them is for them to be comfortable in the space. That's, when you're anxious, you're not going to get anything out of the movement except more stress, which is fair. What I would say to someone who is at that point, or they've taken a hiatus on working out and now they're trying to get back in, is there's never going to be a good time to start. You just have to start. And sometimes starting is finding the thing that on a very base level appeals to you the most. And starting with that and creating a habit from that and then adding on to that habit. And if all else fails, rely on the resources that you have to teach you how to do it. There is absolutely no shame in asking for help to get you to where you want to be.
Indeed. One thing that is an underrated exercise is walking. And, one of the things that is, doesn't matter if the gym's closed or if stores are closed, you can't mall walk, whatever, you can still go outside and walk, get your vitamin D. So you shared you were doing a book club. Are there any books that you've found to be helpful in this? So if someone were to go, you know what? Yeah, I've inspired. I'm going to go either walk or go to the gym, get on the bike or the elliptical or whatever, and listen to, little net time, no extra time education. So my book club rotates who gets to pick what, and some of their picks have been a little extra. Okay.
So I'll give you some of the picks that we've had, and then your readers can decide, or your listeners can decide. The last book that we read together was Verity by Colleen Hoover, which was phenomenal. My book club is really into like thrillers.
Oh, okay.
Psychological thrillers. Woman in the Window was another one that we did. Behind Closed Doors was another one that we did. I'm like, they all kind of have a certain
theme. Yeah.
We also read Educated, which was amazing. And we read I think it was The Beekeeper's Wife. I might have that name wrong.
Okay. So these are mostly fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I recently read nonfiction, The Nazi Officer's Wife. I finished that actually this morning, which was amazing. I would highly, it takes a lot for me to be insanely impressed by a book, and I was insanely impressed by that book.
Interesting. The Nazi Officer's Wife.
It's like basic synopsis. It's about a Jewish woman who marries a Nazi officer, and he hides her through World War II. And it's her memoir, basically.
Wow, that sounds insane. Okay,
maybe amazing.
Must be a must read. Would it help maybe people get some distinctions and perhaps navigating today's times?
Potentially. It was interesting for me because the story starts prior to World War II in Austria, and it goes through that whole like political shift. So from that standpoint, it was very, very interesting. I learned things. I will say that.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, one of the outcomes of this conversation, the real deal, and all that is to get people to think, right? To think outside the box, try on new possibilities in all ways, holistically. It's not, in our conversation, it's not just fitness, it's not just diet. It's, how you do anything is how you do everything. And this is a great opportunity for us to, kind of take a step back because things are going really crazy. And just like, I'm going to guess, and I'm just common sense here, you could lose 40 pounds overnight, but in order to do that, you'd have to remove a limb. And right? And so it's possible, but not recommended, and most people don't do that. So like
you don't want to have surgery. It's not fun. Trust me.
Right. Yeah. So I guess you could get that. And again, that's not sustainable even if you do that. So like in fitness, things don't happen overnight, nor do political shifts, nor does business shift, nor does relationship shift. It's always a drift. And the challenges, and as I've gotten older, it used to be from a fitness standpoint, it used to be if I had to lose like 10 pounds, I could do it in a week. I just do Atkins, and I'd lose it, and it would stay off mostly, and start over. And the older I got, the less quickly things like that, the less effective that became, and it certainly had to shift into recognizing the shifts sooner and then modifying lifestyle in order to accommodate, as opposed to just doing the Band-Aid. I'll just starve myself for a week and there goes 10 pounds, no problem.
The wedding diet, that's what I call that, the wedding dress diet. I like that you bring that up though, because for me, like this getting healthy, being healthy, staying healthy, all of it is such a mindset thing. And people don't want to talk mindset when they talk health. But when you say that, like, I just need to drop 10 pounds, so I'm just going to do Atkins for a week. And then I drop the 10 pounds. And then what happens is probably fairly quickly that 10 pounds comes back on because you haven't created a routine for yourself that is sustainable to keep the 10 pounds off.
Right.
And then what I hear is you internalizing, I'm never going to get there. I'm not good enough. I can't keep the weight off. All of this like negative self-talk that starts coming through. And then you don't want to try the thing again because I know it's not going to work.
Right.
Well, is it the thing that's not working, or is it that you actually don't have something that's like maintainable in place?
Are you asking me personally?
I'm asking everyone.
Yeah, no, I recognize it. I know that, I do. I'm having my juice, and I do what I need to do. And it is a lifestyle shift. It's not, the word diet already doesn't sound good.
Die in it.
Yeah, so the bigger part of the word. And the other thing is just in general, you don't eat one salad and go, I'm healthy. You don't go on the bike and ride a mile or two and go, I'm healthy. It doesn't work like that. It is, I play racquetball. That's my main health regimen. And when I first started, I sucked.
Fair.
A couple of years later, now I don't suck as much. It's nice. I can, hold my own. I mean, I'm not entering, I'm not competitive style. I'm not playing in tournaments and that kind of stuff, but I've gotten considerably better over time. And the challenge is sometimes when we see someone who is making it look easy, or they're getting these great results, or, you see the people walking in the gym who just, look great. You go, oh, yeah, that's easy for you. And and the people are like, you don't understand that I've been doing this for years. And I also take care of when I'm not here, I'm eating right, and I'm watching, my breathing, and I take and drink enough water, and I'm, doing other things other than looking good.
Right. And isn't that completely exacerbated by social media when you're like, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to find a workout to do at home, so I'm going to go online. And then you see someone and they're doing this insane move, but they're doing it perfectly. Yeah. Like, no, they did it twice, and they have lighting and makeup and their hair is done. No one looks that cute when they're working out the right way. I'm telling you right now, it's not cute or comfortable.
Yep. Well, and of course, no one would say, like, okay, here's my health regimen. You're going to be really uncomfortable.
I say that.
You may not like all the food that you eat, and sometimes you may not be able to eat the stuff you want to eat. You might have to cut back on some of that, and there'll be moments where you're not digging it all that much. And they go, oh, I want that. No, they go, oh, look at this. It only takes, 10 minutes a day. Eat anything that you want. Eat this pill, and you're good to go. And I'll take that one.
I tell my clients all the time, I do say, this is not cute or comfortable, and this is also not for the basic person. If it was cute or comfortable, everybody would do it all the time, and no one would take breaks. If I could invent a pill that made me skinny with muscles, I could eat whatever I want, never have to exercise a day in my life, and I could market that, I would be a bajillionaire.
Yeah.
Everyone would buy. Give me one person who would not succumb to that temptation.
Well, the truth is, you could do it, and then you do what everyone else does, is say, results may vary. And and then that's because that's what it is. All those programs, they give that to you, and then you're like, oh yeah, you do that. Oh, but you also, in the fine print, you also need to do all this other stuff. And if you don't do any of this isn't going to mean anything. But pay us anyway, because results will vary, because it depends on how much effort you put into it. And you go, oh, I got to take responsibility for this. Oh man, I thought that all I had to do was buy the tape, or download the video, or buy the juicer.
Right? You're all tempted by the before and after picture. I'm a sucker for a good before and after picture. I won't even lie. I love it.
Who isn't?
Great. Who isn't? They're amazing. That's great.
That's why they work.
That's why they work.
So when you're marketing your clients, do you have before and afters of them?
I do have before and afters, and I have thankfully a lot of written testimonials, and I tend to use the written testimonials more because I've noticed with my clients that they dove a little bit deeper into like the things in their life that had to get organized in order, the shifts in their mindset that had to happen for them to be able to create this for themselves. I think mindset is an unavoidable part of being healthy. Like, where's your head at?
It's the most important.
Right?
Right?
It's not going to happen without it. If you think you can't do it, you will not be able to do it.
Henry Ford, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, either way, you're right.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it boils down to it. I mean, the way I frame it for me, mindset is state, your emotional state. And so if you're angry, frustrated, depressed, bitter, all of that, this is why you got to take care of your body anyway, because your body plays such a huge part in your emotions anyway. Like, some people don't feel good because they don't feel good, right? They're just not taking care of themselves. They don't have the energy. They don't have the vitality, and it translates. It's really hard to have tons of energy if you're, overweight, or you are not fueling yourself with the right foods and so forth. The exercise is just a way to enhance and maintain what you've got. And the more exercise you do, the more you improve it, and then the less you have to do to maintain it in many respects. I'm sure the other reason why people need to work with people like you is that step one, maybe, remove the weight, and that requires one strategy. Step 2 is keep it off, which may be a different strategy. There's a whole other way you could do it. And some people, put the cart before the horse and paint the...
so to speak. Oh, yeah, that's a great way to put it. There's nothing that's more discouraging than, busting your butt to remove all this weight just to have it come back on and then some.
Yeah.
It makes you feel bad. There's no two ways around it. And then you're going to be less likely to show up. And that is the biggest part of this, is showing up. And showing up in the way that works the best for you. Not what works the best for the person next to you, or what the person on social media is doing, or dude who's next to you in LA Fitness on the treadmill with his Coke and his chips. And then he goes and probably deadlifts like 500 pounds or something insane.
No, he didn't look very healthy either. It wasn't. He was definitely like, I don't know if it was because there's some people who like shelf help. They go to the gym. Like, I go to the gym every day. I'm like, well, what do you do at the gym?
I sit in the sauna.
Right. Yeah, I sweat. Yeah. Right, now, there's nothing wrong with sitting in the sauna. Generally speaking, that's probably good to do, either prior or after the workout, or both. But the exercise is really the best part, and that's one of the challenges. Like, if you go to one of the more frou-frou-y gyms where they've got a lounge and they've got, it's a
juice bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of those kind of gyms in California. It has the cafe in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, down by us, there's this place it's a gym and a restaurant. But the restaurant it's all healthy salads and all of that. But it's interesting because you see, and you can see the gym. You see everybody working out. And then there's the area where people are eating and juicing and all that stuff. And they attract the kind of people that are mostly balancing both, where they go, okay, after I work out, because it's a gym. It's not.
So they're getting the I worked out, now I'm going to go have a protein shake person.
Right. And then that's where they go for their meetings or their shakes or whatever, to see all their friends who work out. And it's actually a pretty cool thing.
I would get behind that. I could be down for that.
Yeah, but there's sometimes you see the places where they have the salon in there. You get your hair did and all that. And it's like, I was at the gym today. Wow, your hair looks great, but what happened to the rest of you? Right.
Yep.
Kids today.
Kids today.
So moving forward then, if someone, because obviously you have two opportunities. So the people who are in California can obviously get to work with you in person. But my hallucination is that really your personal coaching and personal opportunities are really more private Zoom, and I'm sure you obviously do probably go to people's houses or come do a personal in the gym and so forth. But because of technology, we've been able to expand a lot of what we do because there's an H in it. How do you like to work best? And if someone wanted to connect with you, how would they do so? I
do the brick and mortar. I do the virtual classes. The virtual classes also get recorded. So if someone can't make the class live, they can go into the recording.
Love it.
I mean, in fairness, though, this is done out of my garage in my house, and I have puppies and a human and, all the things. So sometimes we get interrupted by my daughter.
How old's your daughter?
She's 6, and she's a meaner trainer than me.
All right.
Hands down. I do also do personal training on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
That's another option. And it goes back to what you said, even with things reopening, the fear of being in a public space like that has been extremely palpable. All other things aside, that has been a source of fear, and I do want people to get healthy, so that's an option too. But in terms of the very tailored individual solution, that's private coaching.
Right. Well, and just to back up to that, my vision when you just shared that, because I've experienced that to some degree. I remember here in Florida transparency, we've been out doing live events and everything since like March of 2020. Like we didn't, it's a few weeks. After a few weeks, many people are like, we're going to think this through here. Does this actually make sense? And we decided to slowly start, expanding and opening up. But even that, after a few weeks, going out again and meeting people was a little awkward. Like, what do I do? We're doing the fist bump, the elbow bump, how do you do that? So there was still that a little bit of anxiety, and that was only after a few weeks or a month or two, a couple months for some that took their time.
And about a year, the brick and mortar that I work for did not reopen until April of 2021.
Yeah. So not only do we have that physical stagnation and atrophy, we have the mental and psychological and emotional stagnation and atrophy, where people, while it may or may not be safe, and that's a separate conversation, use your common sense and you will probably find yourself doing more. But the point being is that you got to get your body moving. You've got to change what you've been doing so that you can. And what'll happen is the more you start moving your body, the more you start going out, even if it's a little bit here, you don't start, deadlifting 500 pounds right away. You start with, what you could actually handle and work your way up. So some people may not be able to handle going to the gym right away, but they know but if I don't do something, I'll never do anything. So, now is never now is always the best time to start, because there's never another now, or there's always another one. So the opportunity then becomes when you're ready, which will be never. So when would now be the best time to reach out to someone like yourself to help get back on track to, even if it's doing something at home.
Right. And I mean, I like that you bring that up, because what I'm noticing now that things are reopening and people are starting to get back in is that play of the ego is starting to kind of come back in with pre-pandemic, I could lift this amount. And then what I did in 2020 was I sat a lot.
Yeah.
And I watched everything that was on Netflix. Judgment aside, that's done. That's in the past. Now we're moving on. But when you start again, you have to be patient with yourself and give yourself that learning curve to let your muscle memory kick back in so that you can avoid getting injured. Yep. That's what I'm seeing now is how can we get back into the fitness game if we've taken a break without getting hurt and having to take another break? Because I do want you to start right now, but you have to give yourself the grace of saying, right now might not be the right now of 2019.
Right. Well, fortunately, I'm going to hallucinate that most people who operated at that level did what you did, which is work out at home. So they probably don't have that same thing. But what I think also probably happens as well is maybe some of the people who maybe didn't do heavy lifting, but did some running or cycling or swimming, and they used to do X amount in X amount, and then they're going back, and then they could get into a beat themselves up phase because, I used to be able to do, a 5K in, 20 minutes, and now it's taking me 30 or whatever their thing is. And to that point, they may not get hurt physically, but they have to mind their mind, because psychologically they could start beating themselves up and get into a funk unnecessarily. Right. Which is why it's so great to have, again, some support for all of these. Yes.
Yeah. That muscle memory will come back. All the things will come back. You got to be patient.
It made me think of one of the things in my illustrious variety of careers, from music to a trainer and speaker with Tony Robbins, to then being recruited to bring personal development to behavioral health, the Drug and Alcohol Treatment Center. One of the things that unfortunately happens with ODs is someone would go to treatment and not be using for 30, 60, 90 days, and then go out and use the same amount they used to, and then that would take them out because their tolerance dropped. So it's a very similar experience. Unfortunately, these patterns are there. And we need to be mindful of them and get the right support. And for those of you who know people who are using drugs or alcohol, the support isn't go find someone who could help you use appropriately. It's don't, get yourself back to treatment. I'm not using I'm not justifying the experience or finding a way to work around it. Just you can see how we all convert. We can still hurt ourselves not recognizing where we're at.
Right, for sure. There's I won't name names, but there is an individual who's known for saying when someone says, well, I want to go work out, their response is, well, just go work out. Well, for some people, that's easier said than done.
Yeah. Yeah. Nike gave it away, but you got to still do it smartly.
Yeah. Just do it. Parentheses.
Just do it.
Smartly.
Yeah. Yeah, when someone says just do it and it's jump out of a plane, just make sure you got the parachute. Like
that's a pass for me. I'm not doing that.
Oh, you haven't tried yet, have you?
It's the height thing from getting hurt. Heights and me are not friends anymore.
Oh, fair enough. With your foot, I could understand a little concern. But what if you were with a skilled tandem person that got you into one of those big, puffy, like...
I'm going down this road because my husband skydives for his job all the time. That's a pass. He's
so has he thought of that, though?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
No, pass. I'm good. Both feet on the ground, I'm good.
How about bungee jumping?
Oh, absolutely not.
But you don't land.
Oh, man, your spine just decompresses and slams back together. No.
It's like going to a chiropractor.
You already know how I feel about that.
Well, I know, but this way you don't have to get them doing the manipulation. It's a natural. It's using God's energy to allow you to experience the. Okay.
Yeah. No.
All right. Well,
he's like, we're gonna try. No.
One day your daughter's gonna go, Mommy, can we go skydiving? I want to go.
Yes.
And
she's been asking since she was 5. She can go when she's 8. I said, absolutely no.
Is there, it's a great question. Is there an age limit for that? Is there a legal thing or? I could be wrong. Do not quote me on this. I think she can go tandem when she's 8. Okay. And our daughter is turning 7 in a couple weeks, so I'm wondering. We've never discussed it because I never thought about it until she was maybe a teen. But now you bring up an interesting thing. May want to take her on.
I'll be feet firmly planted on the ground, waiting for them to come down.
All right. Well, at least you're letting her go.
Yeah.
So how would one get in touch with you to be able to learn more about your whole system and be able to get some of your rock?
Ooh, all the things. So the easiest place is to DM me on Instagram, and my handle is my name, @Lisa and you can ask me any questions. My link in the bio on Instagram has all the things, the website, everything like that. My website is www.ahealthfullife.org. And I know you're going to have this in the show notes because you're rad like that. There is also a freebie in the show notes, that a workout guide, that are workouts that are pre-made, ready to go, that you can plug and play. And now I get to be a serious trainer and say, if you run into an exercise that you don't know how to do, if you do not know what weights to choose, if you need to take a different variation because of injury or limitation, or you slept funny and you're not sure how to change it, please ask. I invite the conversation all the time. I want to have these conversations so that I know that you're getting the most out of the workouts that you're taking time out of your busy day to do. That being said as well, if someone's listening to this and wants to jump in on private coaching, I'm giving 20% off the first 3 months.
Ooh.
So they just have to say that they listen to the podcast.
All right. So the Real Deal on Deal is 20% off. I'll throw that in the show notes as well. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, any final thoughts? If you were to look back at your journey in navigating your way to your grounded, happy joyfulness now, what advice would you give your young self? Or perhaps what advice would you have for your daughter?
Well, my daughter's going to rule the world. I don't have a lot of concerns with her. For me, I would tell my 19-year-old self that got hurt to not be afraid to step into my own strength.
Love it. And how would one do that if they were feeling that they weren't?
By just doing the thing, trying and being okay with failing. Failing is not a bad thing. Failing is a launching point. Failing shows you where you start from.
Beautiful. Awesome. Fail forward.
Yes.
There we go. Well, Lisa, I can't thank you enough for sharing your most valuable asset, your time. So thank you, your time, your energy, your wisdom. I look forward to more. I'm going to friend you on Instagram as well. I don't think we are connected there. And we'll throw everything in the show notes. So go on there, get your 20% off, real deal discount at ahealthylife.org.
Healthful.
Healthfullife.org. Sorry. Let me write that down here. Well, you sent that to me. Okay. Awesome. So with that being said, I appreciate you for who you are and who you aren't. And this has been an absolute pleasure, and look forward to more rock with you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging with us. And remember to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast right here. And we look forward to serving you even more. Remember, download your free guided hypnotic meditation at guidedhypnotic.com. That's guidedhypnotic.com, where you'll get your free anxiety-busting meditation. We look forward to serving you, and if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to reach out. All right, we love you for who you are and who you aren't. God bless.